Pack your bags, faithful. This week, we headed to D.C. That's right, we got a trip to the East Coast. 49ers, get ready to take on the Commanders. Listen, it's the Takeoff Show. You guys get to call in. I want to get your takes on everything. We got some 49ers news we're going to discuss, a little NFL news. Stick around. We'll get right to it right here on the WayneBreezie Show.
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
What's going on to the Red and Gold crew out there? It's your boy WayneBreezie. Welcome to the WayneBreezie Show, guys. Sponsored by Residency.com. You can see the Residency hats in the back. All right. Use that promo code SFBreezy. You can save $5 on your next purchase. Shout out to everybody over there at Residency. Creating that great product for the faithful and the players, because the players be rocking them. For the players to wear, man. Shout out to them over there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. The Breezy Bunch crew is definitely in the building. You know, we got to show some love to the Breezy Bunch crew, man. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. And please subscribe. Please subscribe. All right, you know what it does. Subscribe to the channel. You could always become a member of the Breezy Bunch. Speaking of the Breezy Bunch crew, my man Nick Nice in the building. Rule numero uno in the building. Number one. What's going on, baby? I see you out there, Nick. Appreciate you. Red and Gold Blood, it's in the building. Says, what's up, Niner fam? Okay, this is my thought. Did that Ravens game remind me anyone else of us during preseason? Kyle running a super vanilla game plan and is not worried about losses after the fact. Man, hold on to that, man. Like we can come back to that. Let me star that. Peachy's in the building. She says, hello all. Shout out to Peachy. Red Jet Shell in the building saying hello to the chat. The chat's about to be pumping. You guys probably ain't gonna pay me any attention, and I'll get the phones up going and stuff like that at some point during the show, or whatnot. Let's see who else we got in here. I see you out there, Manly, man. Appreciate you for joining. Appreciate you. Don't bother me's in the building. Blessings. What's going on, my brother? I keep telling you that hat is fire. That has to be a custom made hat in your avatar. That has to be custom, right? Because I've never seen that. Corey, what's going on, bro? Callie, I see you out there. Tanisha's in the building. Good morning, Breezy and Faithfuls. Keep forgetting that it's morning time out there on the West Coast. The Bishop's in the building. Terradome, what's going on, bro? I appreciate you for tuning in. Congratulations to what you're doing over there on your network and your channel, Marty Mar 49er Empire. I can to do the Madden simulation challenge, so I can just tell Madden how wrong they were. He says, Breezy, I think Kyle not trying to show his hand. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I think you're right, but I still don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense. I guess I'm the type of person that feels like I can win every game, right? If I'm a head coach, I want to win every game. But not at the expense of players obviously getting injured, but it's football. So, like, I don't know what that means, him not trying to show his hand. It's like weird, right? Like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't. But I can understand why people believe that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I totally can. Tony, what's going on over there, man? We got some Facebook people. Aaliyah's in the building. Tony's in the building. Got to show some love to the Facebook crew, you know. Feel free to come over on YouTube. You guys, if you come over on YouTube, you subscribe to the YouTube, you'll be in the chat, and then you can see the interaction, the live interaction with the chat. But if you just like Facebook and you want to be on Facebook, I appreciate it. I love the viewers over there as well, or whatnot. But listen, man, I think by now, I'm not telling anybody to move on or let it go. You don't have to be on your Frozen. You know what I'm saying? But we got to move forward. right? I'm surprised they didn't title this episode like moving forward, but you know, how will Brock Purdy bounce back? And that's the question that I'm going to be asking when you guys call in today. How will Brock Purdy bounce back? How will he respond? And I think that's a fairly decent question. You know, will it take 3 more losses for him to clap back? Well, 2 more in a row. We lost 3 games in a row for it to like kind of fix itself. I don't know. So I'm definitely curious to know how you guys feel like he's going to bounce back. I tell you this though, I believe Brock Purdy will bounce back quicker than some of you guys think. And I'll give a little stint. Speaking of Brock Purdy, let's start the show off. Today is his birthday, so let's wish the Brock a happy birthday, man. Brock Purdy turns 24. Young fella rumble. Happy birthday, Brock, man. I hope you enjoy your day. I don't think you'll have the day off. It's a short week. Maybe they are off today. I don't think they're gonna get the day off. But listen, Brock, man, look, Brock's having much success. Also, round of applause for Brock Purdy being the first quarterback since 2000 to throw for over 4,000 yards. Brock Purdy has 4,050 yards, and he has 2 more games to be the leader of the franchise with the most passing yards in a single season, which is also held by right now former 49ers quarterback Jeff Garcia. So Brock Purdy has the opportunity in what, 2 more games to break that record, which it just seems like, you know, it's going to happen, right? It's almost destined to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll see what happens. But I know it's gonna happen. But Brock, keep going out there doing what you're doing. You know, you got to find a way to kind of like chuck this one up, man, and throw it out, man. This is one of those things where you just have a game plan. It's very bad. It doesn't work, and you kind of like take that game plan out the book. You rip it. You know, you ball it up. And you shoot it into the trash can, and you never come back to the game plan. What's going on, Nigel? Says happy birthday. The lovely Mrs. Tower says, hey Wayne, what's going on? Jax Knox sends Brock some happy birthday love as well with the I love you. All right, she loves her some Brock Purdy. I like that, man. Listen, you should love Brock Purdy because he's been nothing but a breath of fresh air for the San Francisco 49ers since he's been inserted into the lineup, whether he came in as a backup and then as a starter. I mean, he's just tremendous. Just look at the stats. Leo from over on Facebook says, also remember, let's see if I can read it in my Master Splinter's voice because I just feel like I'm on my Ninja Turtle stuff today. Also remember, Joe Montana also threw a full interception game in 1984. We also won the Super Bowl that year. How is history like repeating itself? It's like you got a lot of those members from those Super Bowl winning teams where their records are about to be broken. Jerry Rice, you know, like just a lot of records, right? And so like I'm curious to know like how is history on the verge of repeating itself? I think that's a great question and something that we definitely need to look up. But this isn't going to be an episode where I'm going to disrespect a guy that has a winning percentage and to me is still the best quarterback in the NFL. I know we might have played the best team in the NFL, but I mean, other than Lamar Jackson being Lamar Jackson, he didn't do anything that wooed me. He did everything. Actually, he threw the ball better than what I thought, and that wasn't even a high. He was just, 64% completion percentage quarterback in that game? That's not great. You know what I'm saying? But I tip my hat to Lamar. He made plays, and that's how they won. That's kind of like how they won, and we made mistakes, and that's also kind of like how they won. So you had the good play from Lamar Jackson in the Ravens game. He made some good plays, some extended plays, some good cross-the-body throws. That's all awesome. And their defense capitalized off of our mistakes, and that's how you win football, right? Like that's how you win. And you can say they had a little bit of luck on their side. I mean, listen, the balls kind of went into their favor, you know. We turned the ball over, they forced the turnovers, they forced them, and they capitalized on them, you know. How many tip balls that go up in the air actually come down with catches? Like it's kind of a low percentage, but shout out to the Ravens. They got that dub. Like I said, we're moving forward because next up we have the Washington Commanders on the road, you know, and so I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but it's definitely it wasn't Purdy. No pun intended. I'm sorry. I was there. It was raining and it was a mud bowl. Y'all remember that game? The last time we went to Washington. Y'all remember that game? Mud bowl, baby. Yeah. But look, it may rain this weekend. It's the weather is weird over here on the East Coast. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But let's get into the show. Shout out to everybody from all the streaming social media streams, wherever you're watching from. I appreciate you guys. You guys been rocking out all year long. Some for over a year. You guys have been subscribed to this channel, man. It's been an amazing ride as we look to go into 2024. It's going to be a lot of changes. I'm looking to change up things visually, things like that. Don't be mad if you start to see me in a suit. I'm bull. No, but seriously, there's going to be times I'm just going to want to dress up, put on a shirt and tie, you know, have this nicely shaved and things like that. Time to step the game up a little bit more. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's talk about some things. Look, the 49ers, you know, their power rankings are out and they dropped one spot. They were number one and they lost to the number 2 team at the time. And the number 2 team beat the number 1 team. So the number 1 team now falls to number 2. And you kind of expected it, right? You kind of expected it. Not mad. I almost don't want the 49ers to be winning in anything because I just feel like they play better football when they're the underdogs. That's kind of like how I'm looking at it. And maybe Kyle Shanahan feels that way as well. Maybe Coach Shanahan likes it better when his team are the underdogs. It just amazes me like how sometimes we'll, you know, put out these theories about, you know, records being broken. And I don't think Kyle cared about the record when it came to Christian McCaffrey until he knew he had the game secured in the bag, right? Then it was like, oh, we got this team beat. We got Tampa, we whipping that tail. Like we whipping Jacksonville. Go out there and get the record. Cool. Nah, I don't remember. I don't think he cared about the record. But then in this game, you know, we can put the theory out there that, you know, maybe MVP was what we were trying to turn Brock into, and the Ravens didn't budge, and because they didn't budge, Brock looked pretty mediocre out there. He didn't even look mediocre; he was bad, and maybe we should have just been playing our style of football. I still can't answer that question. But listen, we dropped 1 in the power rankings. Now we're number 2 per all the media sources and stuff out there. So not bad for the 49ers, but now maybe they'll be the underdogs, you know, just heading into I don't want to say underdogs headed into the playoffs, but they're not number 1. They're not the best team ranked wise. Maybe they're the best team in disguise, but not ranked wise. So I just wanted to put that out. Let's go over some injury stuff. Look, man, these are some injuries that are just seeming to pile on. You got a few concussions out here. You got the Eric Armstead injury that just right now looks like they're going to allow to kind of like just rest and heal up on its own as much as they can until Eric really gives them the green light that he's going to come back and play. But Aaron Banks with the turf toe, like that's reactivated and there's a possibility that he may not play. Trent Williams has the groin injury. We do not have any updates as of yet from the injuries from the game. You know, as of right now, like the game that just happened. But yeah, so there's no updates. But Juwan Jennings is still in the concussion protocol, and things like that. See my man Tony calling me. Jawan Jennings is in concussion protocol. Jalen Moore's in the concussion protocol. Ambry Thomas had a hamstring injury that I don't remember ever seeing. Brock Purdy got the stinger. That didn't look too bad, but, didn't get up at one point. Got up slowly, gingerly. And so, look, this is football. This is that war of attrition. And how do you find a way to, battle through the war of attrition? Because it's going to set in. It's not just with the San Francisco 49ers. It's with every team. I know we care about the 49ers, but it just seems like the injuries are starting to pile on. So the Niners are out there, making moves. And here's the latest report for the 49ers. And, they added a defensive tackle in Sebastian Joseph Day. And the Niners decided to, continue to build that defensive front and add more depth to stop the run, because I think that's first and foremost the thing. Their game plan defensively is to take away the run, and they do just that, right? They get Sebastian Joseph Day. I think one of the stats that pumped out to me was this season, and we're going to take a look at him as far as like his career, but this season I think he had about 18 stops, which means tackles for loss in the backfield. I mean, that is what you want, right? 18 per PFF, right? So like 18 stops. That means that this dude is getting in the backfield. I posted it's funny how the clip that I found that I wanted to put out there was the safety that he got on Seattle Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker, because the Niners ended up getting a safety in this past game against the Baltimore Ravens. And so that was one of his stops and tackles for losses on this season. He currently has a total of 25 pressures, 3 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 15 hurries. And he's a pretty good tackler. He only has 3 missed tackles on the season, but he has 19 tackles and 12 assisted tackles. But I want to look at if the stop. I mean, this dude, when you talk about stopping in the backfield, this dude has 100 and let me make sure I get this number right. 136 stops in the backfield. This is the lowest number so far in his career with 18, and it could be because of less snaps. The amount of snaps that he's taken, it could be something like that, even though it looks like his snap count right now is about 560. But hopefully, though, that boosts up with his rotation with the defensive front. I don't think you have to worry about guys like Kevin Givens, Javon Kinlaw. Those guys are going to continue to get off, guys. So you don't have to worry about them and things like that. But it's really cool to see Sebastian Joseph Day now as going to be a 49er. The details of everything is probably going to be out today. The Niners look like they get him, on the cheap again. And so the Niners are going to get really good grit. And the word I like to use is fight, man. This dude is a fighter. He's gonna bring some different grit to that front, and I like it. I like it a lot. So I think it's a great signing for the San Francisco 49ers. But in them making that signing, they let a couple of people go as well. It's hard to talk about people getting fired, but wide receiver Willie Snead the fourth was waived, and they released defensive tackle Taylor Stallworth. That was one of the players that they brought in for a workout on last week. They probably brought him in just to have him and on that practice squad or whatnot, and then they decided to go with once Sebastian Joseph Day was released and he cleared waivers, they went after, I think, a better option at the defensive tackle. So there you go. You got the Niners or whatnot getting that stuff prepared. Now, what's going on right now with the San Francisco 49ers coming off of this shell shock of a loss on Monday Night Football? And I see Coco Puff got the super chat contribution, so let's get him in here. It says, Monday Night Football, I blame on Kyle in-game adjustment. And it's like, I think a lot of people want to put the blame on Kyle Shanahan's in-game adjustment, and I rather that is the blame, right? That's partially a blame. I think there were multiple blames in that particular game. Some was execution. You still had 6 missed tackles in this game, and it had to be the 6 worst missed tackles that you can get. One gave up a touchdown. The other gave up a 3rd and 16. You look at those missed tackles, you be like, dang, right? Even though the number was low, you went from 16, I believe, to 6. That's great. But dang, like the context behind them 6 missed tackles could have been an issue. So execution definitely played its part. I talked about this on Bleacher Report. I try to break each one of them down. Penalties were crazy, right? But you said the in-game adjustments, and I didn't even think about the in-game adjustments for Kyle Shanahan because I was still kind of teed off to why his game plan was different. And so for me, I never even paid attention to the daggone in-game adjustments or whatnot. Jedi, it was Ambry Thomas, cornerback, that has the hamstring injury. But I just thought that the game plan was a little off. And it's funny because I used the word weird. And I'm hearing the word weird be thrown out there right now by like former football players. So like I'm not defending Kyle Shanahan. I didn't say it wasn't his end game adjustments. I said his game plan was trash. So I don't know how that's defending him. But I thought the game plan was off. I didn't think the ratio from run to pass was pretty balanced. It seemed like we were pass heavy early, and when we ran the ball, because of the explosiveness from the runs, we didn't give the volume of the runs because we were getting big yards, and that's fine, right? But the score was still lopsided, and we never really took the lead after we had the lead, and we couldn't get the lead again. So even before you going into the half, when we scored the touchdown, it's 12-13 when you could have probably went for the 2-point conversion and tied it up, and it would have been this would have been a different game. But then the defense, couldn't hold them out for getting 3 points before. It was just weird. This is a weird game. Very weird game. Play call all the way around. I just thought that the game plan didn't seem normal. Didn't seem normal. And so Joey talks about the not coach sucks in the back. I'm sorry, Joey, it wasn't you. Kevin says what I didn't like was all the empty backfield sets. And so like I'll explain to you what this means for those that may not understand it. So look, when you go empty set in the backfield, that means you don't have any running backs back there, which is alerting to the defense that they're not going to run the ball on this play. Now, listen, I'm all cool with those sets. Those sets do work. We do have high percentage plays coming out of those sets. But when you're playing a defense that's disciplined as the Ravens defense, and they're not budging when you send this guy in motion and you do this, this guy goes. The Ravens played zone all game. They didn't budge. You knew they were playing zone. So if you knew they were going to play zone, then why not run it in the zone? Why not run it into the zone? And so like those were the questions that everybody was talking about. The Ravens took away the space, and they were disciplined to take away the space. That's why people are asking, has the blueprint been figured out on Brock Purdy? Does he have weaknesses? Yeah, every person in the league has a weakness, and you do try to take advantage of that. I mean, that's what defensive coordinators get paid the big bucks to do. And I just think that the personnel for the Baltimore Ravens were highly disciplined, number one, and they were super skilled set to take away, to execute the defensive game plan. That's what they did. They made zero mistakes, and they executed it perfectly to perfection. So yeah, I didn't like this either. I didn't like it in this game for this matchup. I will say that. But at the end of the day, like, again, if there's no running back in the backfield, the defense knows right from the jump you're going to throw the ball. And so, what do you do? I don't know. But maybe this was Kyle testing, experimenting. I'm confused with you guys. I don't even know how to explain it to you. I feel like I'm failing as a teacher. because I can't explain it. But at the end of the day, look, it's a learning experience, maybe not just for the 49er players because they all took accountability. Maybe it could be just a learning experience for the coach. And maybe maybe there was a point made earlier that he wasn't trying to show his hand. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. And so when you don't have a quarterback that is a run threat as an option, I'm not sure you should go with heavy empty sets, but in theory, those work because you get the mismatch of your running back on a linebacker. Is just you as a quarterback have to execute it, and if they're sending pressure and extra pressure, the ball's going to get tipped in the air and get picked off, and what happened, right? Like, that's kind of like how it is, like, right? And so it is what it is, man. It happened. All you could do is learn from it, and that's the cool thing. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from the mistakes. Like, don't make the same mistake twice. And I don't think we're going to get that when it comes to Brock Purdy. Because all his interceptions were different. It's not like he threw the same type of interception worthy of a pass. Now, I think he could have had a couple of more interceptions that should have been interceptions that were dropped. But like I said, it just seems like he's learning from what's going on. Now, flipping the script, we're going on the road. And the Niners have to travel East Coast and play at an early time. It's not a 4 p.m. game. It's a 1 p.m. game. So not only do they have a short week, they have to play at an early time. And, that's interesting, right? Because now the San Francisco 49ers, who are favored in this matchup, by damn near 2 tutties, right? 2 touchdown favorite, just about 13.5 points on the road. That's what Vegas is saying. Look, this is what I want y'all to expect because I got to do my expectation video, my little reel that I have to do this week. I'm expecting the Ravens to come with the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, the basement. If you got a sink in the basement, every sink that you can find, the sinks in the stalls. Like, I don't know why. It just feels like this is that trap game. It's not the Ravens game that was the trap game. This will be the trap game. I'm getting weird feelings. Remember that Atlanta game? That Atlanta Falcons game? And I think they came to California. They came to Santa Clara and they beat us. I'm just getting that vibe from this Commanders team in this particular game. And the Commanders decided to say, bump, Sam Howell, we are going with Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, right. And so, like, that's interesting. He will be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So, I mean, I'm on Fantasy Pros and I'm looking up his stats and against the 49ers, this can't be right. I'm trying to see what his stats are against the Niners. So I feel like we've played him before. We've seen him before. But maybe we didn't. Maybe I thought we did. I felt like we didn't see him against the Colts because they had Carson Wentz. I don't know. But look, I just feel like, and Corey says it can't be a trap game. Well, why can't it be a trap game, Corey? I'm just curious to know why can't it be a trap game? Because here's what it is for the San Francisco 49ers. They're right now currently in first place, right? They're currently in first place, okay? And so I like the Commodore's name too, by the way. The 49ers are currently sitting in first place. Now, there's a way that the 49ers can drop, to the 3rd seed. If the Lions beat the Cowboys, the Lions will still remain top of their division, but clearly be in 2nd place. And if the Eagles win, they'll go back to 1st place. So it's kind of like a trap game, right? Like, it doesn't mean we're going to be out of the playoffs. It just means we fall in our standings. So the Niners, the pressure of the San Francisco 49ers for me, what I mean by trap game is they'll lose their seeding if they lose this game. Now it can be fixed depending on what happens in week 18, but they need to win this game. It's just weird. So call me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The Niners gotta be on their P's and Q's because they gotta go out. Now the Niners can clinch the playoffs and clinch the number 1 seed, but it's gonna take the Cowboys to win, right? And the Eagles to lose. So if the Eagles lose to the Cardinals and the Cowboys beat the Lions, and the Niners win, the Niners clinch the 1 seed, and then they can control what they do with the Rams and kind of like eliminate them from the playoffs. So like, there's so many different scenarios, which myself and Mike Andrews, we're going to talk about that at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today on the No Harm, No Foul show. So we're going to go over that stuff, the seeding and the outlook on the 49ers today, a little bit later on today. So I'll save that for later on. But it's just something that you have to pay attention to. Like, it could be crazy. So no, it might not be an essential trap game to where we're going to be out of the playoffs. But as far as losing seeding, I don't even know what the hell trap game is at this point, because the Niners, they just got to win out. That's how I look at it. Take one game at a time, keep it moving, and win out. I don't have an update currently on Trent Williams as of yet, but we are waiting for Kyle Shanahan to speak. If he's speaking right now while we're talking, that's great. and if not, we just have to wait for Kyle Shanahan to give us an update on the MRI from Trent, and as well as the rest of the injuries from the game against the Baltimore Ravens. All right. Here's some grades, man. If you guys even care about this, I can tell that you don't, because I put them up on Twitter and there was no interaction whatsoever. But you got Ronnie Bell leading the offense with a 78.8. He only played 3 snaps on offense, and one of them was a touchdown. All right. And then when you get to the defensive side, it's also a little bit low. You get Kevin Givens with a 72.1 with 23 snaps. And it's the rotational guys, right? The rotational guys seem to be graded a lot higher. So it was just a pretty weird game for the San Francisco 49ers against the Baltimore Ravens. Even the grading was like, huh? Or whatnot. I know you guys probably want to know what's going on, but did you guys get a chance to hear the Debo Samuel take on the Up and Adams show? And if not, he was kind of getting back at Cam Newton, because during the game, for those that don't know, Cam Newton put out a tweet, and it wasn't at anybody, but it's one of those encryptic type of tweets that, he was talking about Brock, because a few weeks back, Cam Newton made the comment about Brock Purdy being a game manager. It's funny, and not a game changer. And to me, it's funny that he says that, because I felt like if they were trying to make him a game manager, it makes sense why he struggled. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch this clip on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams and Debo. They do their weekly stint on this particular show, and Debo's up there.
Kind of emojis, I think.
And let me know if you guys can hear it or whatnot once I put it up on here. And we'll go ahead and check that out. He also somebody commented and said that's not even Micah Parsons, handle or whatever. I don't know, but it started with the Micah Parsons tweet, because he's still barking at the 49ers. So Debo, in the same clip, claps back at Cam Newton and Micah Parsons. And so, I just think it's kind of humorous, because you got to be careful what you say. Because if the question is asked to Debo Samuel, he's going to give it to you just as nitty gritty as he possibly can. It's going to be raw, unedited, unfiltered. It is what it is. And so, I thought it was funny. Oh my gosh, Walt, you were too funny. you said if he was a game manager and he played poorly, would it matter? Like I know, but anyway, here we go. Let's see if we can get this plan right. This will be a good test to see if the stuff works.
Cam Newton also tweeted a couple like, ha ha, I told you so kind of emojis, I think.
First of all, Cam Newton
What do you
stopped
make of
texting my
that?
phone, bro. He was a fan like 2 weeks ago. Like, that's mad crazy. Like, you wanted me on your podcast after talking about my quarterback, which is funny to me. But anyway, back to this Michael Parsons story. Like, bro, we beat you 42 to like whatever the score may be. Like a long time ago. Like, I don't get why he's so bothered about what we got going on over here, whatever the case may be. And I don't understand, like, you saying, like, you can be a quarterback in this offense. Like, I don't understand where you're going with that.
Yeah, I don't know. They got a big game and an awful loss. It doesn't make sense, but he thinks he could. Cam Newton also tweeted a couple.
So what happened was Cam Newton came out. And like I said, this goes back to the tweet of Brock being a game manager opposed to a game changer. And then he puts out a tweet right then and there, during the game, after I think it was Brock's third interception, he put out a tweet. I can't remember, it was the emoji with the eyes or whatever or whatnot. And so, of course, Kay is going to ask her guy, Debo, like, you know what I'm saying? And so Debo Samuel, the first thing, he says, hey, man, stop texting my phone. How you going to want me to come on your show? And you're going to talk about my quarterback. So I'm ecstatic with Brock Purdy. I mean, with Debo Samuel defending his quarterback, man. He gets a round of applause for that, because this is national media right here. And Debo's like, don't talk about my quarterback. Like, keep my quarterback's name out your mouth. Like, that's basically what he's saying to Cam Newton. That's how I took it. That's how I would interpret it. If he was talking to me, that's how I would have interpreted it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Debo. And then I don't even know Micah Parsons. Like, guys, can I keep it a buck about Micah? He's one of my favorite players. So you're gonna hear me talk about Micah a lot during his career, because I just like him. I've liked Micah Parsons ever since he played for Penn State and what he used to do to my team, Michigan. So I'm a fan of Micah Parsons, but like, I don't think he said anything necessarily disrespectful, but it's like he won't let it go. Micah, you got beat. Your team got beat, and you was a non-mother factor. Okay? You was a non-factor. Micah, just let that game go and focus on. Here's my words to Micah, because I like him and I respect him. Focus on winning. Stop worrying about what happened and focus on moving forward. That's what the Niners need to do too, because here's the thing, like, if they continue to focus on this particular situation, them losing, focus on moving forward. You lost, get over it. It's okay. It's okay if you got beat on national television by a lot of points. It's okay. It's okay. You just gotta let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Like, so I need Micah to let it go. And speaking of letting it go, I need Brock Purdy to let it go. Like, don't let people get up in your head, fam. Because Brock got that mindset where he gonna come back out and throw it again and again and again and again. The question is, did he learn from what he saw out there on the football field? And I think he's gonna be tested against the Commanders. Not saying that they're that great, but if that was the blueprint to make Brock a little rattled in the pocket, then I expect the Commanders to come out and do the same daggone thing, take the blueprint, but they got to execute it. And so I don't think the Commanders have the willpower of players to execute like we saw from the Baltimore Ravens, because the numbers tell me that the Ravens had the number one scoring defense. Do you know where the Commanders are when it comes to giving up points? Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go to defensive stats. Let's see if I can find out where the Commanders are currently ranked as far as defensive points per game, because the Niners are number 3. I just want to put that out there. They were number 2. They're .1 now behind the Kansas City Chiefs. When I go to the Commanders, I have to go. I don't start from the top. I start from the bottom. This ain't a Drake song. They're number 32. There are only 32 teams in the league, so that sounds like they last. I know this ain't that show. I'm about to open up the phone lines, but all I'm saying is they give up on average, like average, 30 points a game. This will be a 30 Purdy game. I can tell you that right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers score 8 touchdowns in this game. Like, I just wouldn't be. Now, I expect the Commanders to throw the kitchen sink at them, but if they got all parts from the junkyard and they ain't got the right person to put the sink together, ask me if I'm worried. I'm not. Let's go ahead and get to this, man. I just wanted to give you guys a little humor because I just love when Debo's asked questions, man. I think it's funny. So here's my question: how will Brock Purdy bounce back against the Commanders? And that's the question. I know you guys are gonna get ready to call in. I'm hoping everything is working fine. I'm getting the app loaded right now as we speak, and I'll take the first few callers that call in. We got a few minutes. Let's get it in. How will Brock Purdy respond against the Commanders? Like, how will he bounce back? That's the question. Do you think it's going to take it 2 more games, 2 more losses? It took that because we watched Brock Purdy struggle against Cleveland. Then he started throwing those interceptions against Minnesota. He had a couple of 3 more interceptions against Cincinnati. And then he was pretty good. Then he had one against Seattle. That was a pick 6, but he shook it off. But then Brock Purdy's looked pretty darn good, right? He's been protecting the football. How will he bounce back, man? Feel free, man. The number is 475-549-7849. All right. If you guys want to call, I think it works. I'm not sure if it works. I didn't get a chance to test it after I restarted the computer. But how will Brock Purdy bounce back against the Commanders? And we got our first call. So let's go ahead and get it in. What's going on, Dion, man? How you doing, baby?
What's good, Breezy? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing excellent. Man. I know we took a bad loss this past Christmas against the Baltimore Ravens, but we moving forward, right? We moving forward. So, Brock Purdy, I will say, had his worst game of his life. Never mind career. That was probably the worst game ever since he put a football in his hand. And so how is he going to bounce back against this Commanders team, bro?
The way we bounce back against the Commanders is we go back to the offense that we normally run, and Kyle stops trying to overthink himself. To me, it doesn't make sense why you decide to go pass heavy against the Ravens defense, which is the number 1 dang defense in the league. That don't make no sense. I don't understand. Why are we so pass heavy? We threw over 40 passes and we only ran the ball 18 times. This is why Kyle pisses me off and confuses me in the same moment, because he'll do something great and then he'll come back and do something that makes absolutely no sense. For the life of me, why do we run CMC and we never see Jordan Mason?
I don't
But
know.
magically, when Elijah Mitchell gets healthy, he get on the field. This is another situation of Kyle having his guys, and I hate that. Stop doing that. Jordan Mason averages over 5 yards a damn carry. Explain to me what Elijah Mitchell does, because he ain't done nothing in recent memory that makes me think that he should be able to get on the field over Jordan Mason. But
Yeah.
Brock can bounce back when we go back to being a balanced attack, when we are not so pass heavy. That's how you do that. You don't sit there and watch your quarterback throw 4 interceptions and make him keep throwing the ball. You calm it down. And what confuses me about that is he did that crap with Jimmy. When Jimmy started messing up, what did he do? Hey, man, we got to run the ball. Let's calm this down. Let's figure it out. Let's get it right. We'll do it. We'll run the ball a little bit. We'll make it happen. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to me how you're not seeing this, but you keep putting him in this situation. That's dumb. I don't know. And for me, here's a narrative I need people to stop. Stop with this Kyle is playing chess, not checkers crap. Don't do that. You don't go into a game where you're making a statement against the number one team in the opposing conference and purposely lose because you're playing chess. Oh, well, he didn't want to show his hand because, Kyle, he be thinking. Stop it. You don't go in there and get your teeth kicked in like that. Playing chess. That's checkers, people. Open your eyes. I know we like to give Kyle all the credit in the world, and he's an offensive genius and this and that, but stop putting the man on a pedestal that he don't belong on now. Anybody with a brain in their head can see you're not playing chess if you go in there and get broke off like that. I'm sorry. Any other head coach, nobody would say that. They're not going to say Bill Belichick's playing chess if he just went in there and got broke off like that. Nobody's going to say that. But people out there want to always put this narrative out that Kyle is always 3 steps ahead. He makes mistakes. He's not perfect. It is what it is. But Brock can bounce back when we become balanced again.
Balance.
That's the key. If you're going to run the ball 20 to 30 times. If we're going to throw the ball 20 to 25. Balance the attack again, and Brock will be right back to normal. There is no reason that we should have thrown the ball and kept throwing the ball when the man had threw 4 picks. Now, I get that we were down, but at some point you got to start realizing when the game's over. Like, that's it. And the only other thing that bothered me was we lost every offensive lineman we had toward the end of that game. And we wake up on Tuesday and sign Sebastian Joseph Day? Really? So we got down to our last offensive lineman. And we wake up the next morning and go, what should we add to the team? Another defensive lineman. As if we don't have a plethora to choose from. I get it. Offensive linemen are not running around in free agency and readily available for us to pick up. But could you at least think, hey, that was alarming. And we had all those injuries on the line. Maybe we should address that. Nah, Eric's out. We need another defensive lineman. Let's go. Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills and I'm the only one who sees this stuff. And everybody else is just like, nah, man, everything's fine. You're panicking. But it just, when I try to make sense of it, it doesn't. So we get back to a balanced attack, we'll be okay. Next year, Kyle, please address the line. We need help. Jalen Moore can't move without getting injured. Actually, this Breezy, do you even know who Ben Barch is?
I knew when we signed him, but I didn't know who he was before that. No.
But that's what I'm saying. This is
he wasn't brought on this team to be known. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah.
you say we need to address the linemen, but it costs money, and so like, are you going to pay your skilled players or are you going to pay the offensive line? And so like that's the issue. So in the draft, you're hoping to draft to where now you can pick that offensive lineman in the first round because you have pretty much your team infrastructure set. So now we can go get the offensive lineman, and then now we ain't got to worry about paying that guy. But you usually draft a premium left tackle, and so you're still on the contract of Trent Williams. So now you're looking for an offensive lineman that can play left and right tackle, or you're looking for the best guard in the draft. So that's the only time, in my opinion, that they can address it. You asking them to address it now, that ain't happening with any team because they're scarce. There's no good lineman out there, right? I think they had to bring back Matt Pryor, right? So they had to bring back a free agent that they let go right before the game. Right before the game, they let him go to make room for Jason Verrett. And then now Matt Pryor, I think they have to get him back on the roster because if, like you said, if Jalen Moore remains in concussion protocol, Spencer Burford was terrible at the tackle position. I mean, he gave up a sack and like 4 pressures like right off the bat. So like No, the offensive line is going to be a problem. It was always a problem, but it's unaddressable at this point. You kind of got to just piece what you can together because there's nobody available, bro.
No, and that's why I prefaced my comments by stating I know that there is, but it seems like O-line is a neglected spot every year. And people will say, no, well, we drafted this guy, we drafted that guy. Where are those guys at? I ain't seen Nick Sigel in forever.
Yeah, so
Spencer Burford's sitting there rotating out with Feliciano, so that tells me they don't have that much faith in him.
I mean,
Aaron Banks is literally the only guy we drafted in the last couple of years that's worth a dime, and he's standing next to Trent, so it's going to be a little easy to look that good.
I mean, but the offensive line right now is pretty banged up, right? So, like, Spencer Burford banged up all season. Aaron Banks banged up all season. And the only person that's remained healthy, the healthiest offensive lineman, believe it or not, is Cole McKivitz and Jake Brendo. And I wonder why. Like, I wonder why they go after those Iron Man clad, non-athletic guys that just stay healthy. See what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason. There's a method to the madness. I'm not saying the offensive line is good, period. I promise you I'm not. But right now, we got to put some Band-Aids on it, bro, and hope it heals up, man, because when Trent's out there, the offensive line looks better. But now, if Banks isn't able to go, it's gonna look a little weird. It's gonna look a little weird. Let's get through these next games, Dion.
All right, brother.
And let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens, but everybody remember, we cannot take these next two games lightly.
Bingo.
Don't sleep on these Rams. Do not sleep on the Commanders. They are looking to destroy our seeding process, and they will take joy and pride in it, especially the Rams.
Yeah, because we did that, remember?
We going down to Levi South in our house, you know what I'm saying? So we'll go in there and take over, but we got to be ready. We can't overlook these dudes because they'll both be like, oh, you think it's a game? We coming to play hard, and they're coming to hit. So get back to the balanced offense. Appreciate you for having me, Breezy.
Yes, sir.
None but love, baby.
None but love, man. Appreciate you, bro. All right, let me give some of these callbacks a call back. They've been waiting in the queue patiently. So, Corey, you're up next, and then CJ Gray, you'll be after Corey, all right? You'll be right after Corey.
WayneBreezie, what's up, my man?
What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. We just trying to figure out how we gonna bounce back and move forward, man. And I'm clear. I would love to get your take on how you think Brock Purdy, man, because it starts with him. It starts with the guy slinging the ball around. So, like, how do we move forward from this?
Well, Wayne, how we move forward from this situation is first Brock Purdy has to look at the film like he normally does. See the tape against the game Monday night that he had a bad game. Make the adjustments of when he throws the ball to his playmakers on time. Because that's the most important thing is he got to get back to remember how he throws the ball to his playmakers on time. And once he corrects that, he's back to what he does best. And how he moves forward from that is he just got to remember if something that's not there, he got to remember just to throw the ball away like he's been doing a couple games, but I know sometimes throwing the ball away is not always easy, which is another key factor. And another way how he moves on, he just got to remember that sometimes he just got to, if he knows that if a play is not necessary, sometimes you're just going to have to do a draw play, even though if you don't get the first down, but it saves the possession, and that helps eliminate a critical turnover. But, give credit to Baltimore's defense. I mean, I knew they were going to come ready to play. And I made this statement before that it was not going to be an easy game for them to win. And I agree 100%. But we wanted to know if we was hoping to be a close game in a dogfight. But sometimes what they predict for it to happen doesn't mean it's always going to happen. But like I said on the chat, when you went to the Commanders' stat line of where they were ranked at, and you said they were ranked number 32. I said to myself, I said their defense is terrible. So once I figured out I was telling the truth about that statement, I said to myself, there's no way that could be a trap game, because if your defense is ranked that bad, how are you going to stop the pass and how are you going to stop the run?
Good point.
See, that makes a big difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference. But here's how that can turn, though. A tip pass goes in the favor of the Washington Commanders. Next thing you know, it turns into a pick six because they were able to grab the ball out the air, return it. And so that defense, even though their offense isn't scoring, their defense just somehow got some points. And now you're playing from behind. And the Niners just don't play well from behind. It's just weird. I don't get it. So, like, I'm not saying that's going to happen. And if I'm keeping it a buck with you, Corey, I didn't expect 4 interceptions. I didn't expect any interceptions. I'm going to keep it a buck. I didn't. I thought Brock Purdy would have been more careful with the football. That first one definitely was on him. And the other 3, were in the favor of the Ravens just making great defensive plays. And that's why you credit their defense. You tip your hat to the defense. But at the end of the day, bro, like I'm looking at this Commanders team, and what if they get some of the lucky breaks? I mean, it's a what if, but it can happen because not one of us saw what happening against the San Francisco 49ers because they usually dictate what they do to the defenses. They couldn't do that against the Ravens because they were blitzing and sending corners off the edges and getting people in Brock's lanes and getting their hands up and things like that. So if the Commanders play that way, there's a possibility regardless of what those stats say. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But see, the one thing that makes the season so crazy is that each game that every team plays, we always got to remember as fans, you don't overlook nobody.
Bingo.
You got to remember, like you said, taking one game at a time. And it's always good to learn from the mistakes. But like you said just a few minutes ago, you just can't make the same mistakes again. And that's what everybody's, reality of life situations.
Bingo. That's fact. That's a fact, Corey. That's a fact, bro. Fact up, man. You always spot on, man.
I believe that deep, saying through the rest of the season, I believe we're going to win these last 2 games. And I'm not saying they're going to be easy, but as long as they know if they got the situation to know that they know how important it is to win these last 2 games, I don't see the Niners losing that 1 seed.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in, Corey.
All right, love you, bro.
Love you too, bro. Peace.
All right, peace.
I got a couple of callers I'm going to call back. I got a couple of Tonys in the queue. All right, so we're going to get Tony M on, and I got my Nothing But Niners Tony on here, so get ready. And then we'll end the takeoff. You guys are taking off, man. That's what I like to hear. Flying high, baby. Tony, what's going on, bro?
Breezy.
Hey, man. What's good, family?
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to hold it together, bro, and look forward to the next game.
I hear that. So, yeah, I agree with your take, actually, on the Redskins or Commanders. I'm so used to still calling them the Redskins.
We all are.
Commanders that, hey, listen, with an offensive line that's hurting, as you mentioned, and maybe possibly no Trent Williams, Purdy's going to he's already a quick releaser. He gets rid of the ball pretty good. He knows where he's going typically. With that line not being where it's at, this is where you talked about the tips, the jumping routes. He's going to have to probably get the ball a little quicker than he would like to this week. So the Commanders is definitely going to be something we need to worry about for sure. I mean, that's a road game. They play tough. They played a couple division rivals pretty tough this year. But the scarier game is the Rams. Let's keep it real, especially if Trent ain't there. I think the Rams are the scary one. That's the game. They're playing really good football, and they're going to probably need that win to get in, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's my quick take. It's not much. Probably some people already feel the same way I do, but I'm concerned, as I mentioned last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago on the show, about how I thought Trent Williams was our most valuable player.
Yes, you did.
And
yes, you did.
I think, was it 2 weeks ago, I think?
Yes, it was.
That is the major concern I have. It's not just him being out. It's with him being out and these other backups being out too. So I'm a little concerned not knowing what his fate is right now, and I think we all should be a little concerned about that. But I still think we should try creative ways to get this running game going and power that ball the next 2 weeks, hopefully get a bye, and hopefully everybody's good to go divisional round.
Now that's
That's my take. And
that's a take. That's a good take.
Yeah.
I like that take, man. Very spot on, quick to the point, and I couldn't agree more. But we got to be prepared, like you just said, and
no doubt
it's gonna be tough.
Are
Traveling.
you gonna be there?
I won't because it's New Year's Eve and I gotta work that night. That's a big performance night for me. So I have to play at the casino. So there's no way I could get from the game back to the casino in time. Like flying wouldn't even work. So I can't make to this game. But I will be out there in the playoffs second round because the Niners are getting that bye the first week.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, happy holidays.
Same to you,
go
fam.
Niners.
Let's go, baby. Thanks for calling in.
No doubt.
Peace. Oh, I love it. All right. I didn't miss you, CJ Gray. We got 2 more calls. CJ Gray, then Tony from Nothing But Niners will close this segment out. I want to hear CJ's take because he always gives it to you 100% real. CJ, what's going on, baby?
What's going on, Brave?
Oh, you sound a little melancholy over there, man. How can I cheer you up, bro? Like it's just one loss. Well, 4, but you know what I mean.
Concerned a little bit because during the off season, the thing that I discussed about Brock Purdy, that even though he's played far better than I can ever imagine him playing, especially coming off that injury and stuff like that and his limited experience, the one thing that still has not been answered is his lack of overall arm talent, is that going to hurt us eventually? And I'm beginning to think that when we have to go into a drop back passing game, that is a situation where you need a quarterback to be able to have a fastball, have that number one, to throw it when they see it open and not rely so much on that anticipation that he has. And when he has that anticipation, usually that's a result of us playing 21 personnel against the other team's bigger personnel, which they're slower players and stuff like that. And it creates larger passing lanes and passing windows for him to be able to hit these anticipation throws, which he's deadly accurate on. Kyle schemes it up good. He's great at finding an open receiver because, hell, Jalen Hurts is on tape, and you see wide open players that he don't even throw it to. So that is a skill. That is a next level ability. So I try to preface it that way so people don't come after me like Terradome is lighting me up in his chat right now. But when Baltimore played a lot of nickel and dime, which kind of still pissed me off that Kyle Shanahan would not run the football. They're playing 2 high safeties that's playing deep in the middle of the field. Why we're not running it more? That's not advantageous to throw the football in the first place. But when you have a subpar offensive line and you don't have a quarterback that's see it and hit it laser like a Lamar or like a Allen or like a Mahomes or like a Burrow or like these top elite quarterbacks that is established as elite, he's not able to hit those throws. And he can, but through the season when those opportunities have presented itself for him to do that, it hasn't been done. And so I'm waiting to see if that could happen because other teams are going to try to copy that. Now the real key is, will Kyle run the football when he sees that, or is he going to continue to try to throw the football against that type of defense? So that's pretty much where I am with Brock Purdy right now. Is we gotta see it, because right now we're going into the playoffs, and yes, Brock, from a mental standpoint and from playing the position standpoint, executing the scheme standpoint, does it at a high level. But you got to also admit that we probably, from just a natural talent and size and all that other stuff, we might have the lowest level quarterback going into the playoffs. And I don't know if you can overcome that or not. And so I'm not saying he can't. I got questions.
All right. Listen, man, that was the take. That's the take. I don't know, man. It's tough. I know he had a bad game, but to say that he can't make the throws, I disagree with that. I think him just being indecisive and not making the read, like him just not going through his progressions, I feel like hurt him in this particular game, because on that first interception, if he just drops back, and if that's his throw, and we tell him to go through their progressions, but if he knows that he has like a man that's gonna split the middle of that zone and be wide open, why not throw it? But he didn't do that. He anticipated and waited, and then allowed Kyle Hamilton to jump over as the second safety, playing high up there. And so like that was the mistake. Bro, the rest were freak plays. Like the only one I didn't like other than that one was the one where he was scrambling. There were 800 flags on the football field and they were all on the 49ers, and he threw the interception that Kittle, which couldn't have caught because I thought it was pass interference. I don't know how they didn't see that because the defender got there before Kittle even touched the ball, but that's a whole nother conversation. But that would be the only other one that bothered me. The other one was given up because there was pressure and he gets hit as he's throwing. And it was just a weird game, man. Like, not defending Brock. Brock's got to be the best man on the football field. I keep telling people that. Best being mentally, he has to be competent. He has to be damn near Mr. Perfect, because if he turns the ball over, there's nothing else the other players can do but make the tackle on the turnover, right? So like, he's got to be on point. So I agree with him having to be great, but when he's out there making mistakes, it's almost impossible. And then you put everything else in a bind, your defense, everything. Like, everything goes in a bind after that. I think he can make these throws. I don't think his arm talent is an issue, but they can't win gritty games. And that might be, that was your take maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, and we saw it. You went against the best, and you lost.
But ultimately, I know I've discussed Brock and my concerns, because I've been consistent with those concerns since the off season. My primary concern in that game was Kyle.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Because you have CMC 14 carries over 100 yards. Why you're not running the football?
I don't know.
And then if your quarterback is, he's pressing and he's not seeing it as well as he normally sees it, then
run the ball.
Calm down and just run the
football.
Run the ball.
Just run the ball.
And that's what I've been hollering. I was hollering at the screen during the game.
Just run the ball.
I've been in the chat saying it for several days, and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. If you have the best running scheme,
just run the ball.
And the best running back,
just run the ball.
Just run the football.
Bro, they were 10th in run defense, and they proved that they couldn't stop the rush. Did they get a couple of stops in the backfield? For sure. It happens every game. But then you negate those with those explosive runs, which Christian McCaffrey had 2 explosive runs on his touchdown drive. Funny, the only drive we scored. Like then we threw the pass from Sam Darnold, but the only scoring drive from Brock Purdy was the Christian McCaffrey drive. Yeah, you just run the ball. So I agree. Like I was confused by the game plan, and Yafi says that I was incorrect about the first interception because Debo was his third read. I never said that Debo wasn't the third read. I said he should have made Debo his first read. That was the issue.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna go with your third read, then you know by the time you get to the third progression, he ain't gonna be wide open. So if you drop back and you're like, all right, man, I see what the safeties are doing, Debo, I'm going to fit this ball to you right in between the window. You be there. It's coming. That's what I'm talking about. Be that guy. And that you can say that's hindsight, but that's what the safeties were doing.
Yeah, and I don't get Yeah, I don't get what they were doing. And also on that Debo play, I believe he had a check down that was open.
The check down was open too. That was Christian
I don't know
McCaffrey.
if he, I don't know why.
By that time, he was throwing it. He was throwing it to Debo. That's what happened because the check down is the fourth read, right? And so, he had him. But listen, learning experience and against an AFC team, and now it just hit me. I got to get Tony on here. So, CJ, I thank you for calling in, man, because Tony's probably got to get to work. But it just hit me why people keep saying that the 49ers didn't want to show their hand, and it just hit me that this was a Super Bowl preview matchup. It just hit me. Not that I agree with it, but it could be something similar to that. We're going to go vanilla. We're going to go French vanilla on this. We're going to go vanilla bean, right? And we're going to come out here and we're going to try to beat y'all throwing the ball. So that way, if we see y'all again, y'all think that's all we going to do and they come back and correct it. I don't know. I'm just making it up at this point.
All right, man. But
all right, bro.
That's pretty much what I had. Run the football, man.
Run the ball. That's the best take ever. Run the goddamn ball. Thanks for calling in, CJ.
All right, man.
Appreciate you. All right, man. We're gonna end this segment with the general manager himself, the people's GM. Let's see if he answers the phone. I can't get rid of this cough.
Oh shit.
Oh, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Wait a minute. He gets a round of applause, guys. Because when Tony calls in, this is royalty right now. Okay, so Tony.
First off, Wayne. Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas, bro.
Family.
Yeah, same to you.
Everything was great for you guys.
Same to you.
And my next question to you is, how long do I have?
I'm not going to end it until you finish. So.
Okay. All right. So what do you got? What do you want to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. First thing I want to get off my chest is number one. Shout out to, I think his name is McDonald, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. He had a great game plan.
Great game.
And they were prepared and they executed it fine. My second thing, and everyone calls me the Kyle lover, Kyle Homer, but I got to point my finger at Kyle for this game. I really do. I really have to. But I'm gonna double back on something because you just said something before you called me and I was listening.
Uh-oh.
If you ask Mike what I said to him about an hour before kickoff, I said the same exact thing you just said. I told Mike, I got a funny feeling about this game. I don't like the way I feel right now going into this game because I think something's up. And you said it, and I think a lot of people are saying it. And I think that is the reason why they did what they did in this game. Okay? Now, a couple key things I just want to say. Number one, Jawan Jennings is more important to this team than people realize. That's number one. Because who did Kyle replace him with?
Freaking
Juice,
Willie Snead, bro.
Juice, Snead, and Warner. A combination of that three. Clearly, Jennings is better than those three. He's better as a run blocker. He's better as a chain mover. He's a bigger, more physical wide receiver who knows how to get open.
Did you just say that Jennings is better than Kyle Juszczyk?
Yeah. As a chain mover, yes. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that, man. They don't call him third and Jawan for nothing, bro.
You did put it in there as a chain mover, so you get a pass for that. But we don't utilize Juice in the ways that I feel like we can utilize Juice, I think.
And it's dropped off a bit, have you noticed?
It has dropped off a lot, but I don't think it's because of Juice.
I don't think so either. I think it's different looks.
Yes.
And the ability to still run with Jawan Jennings on the field.
Bingo.
Now, two schematic things that I saw in this game that it kind of caught my eye. If you look at the first interception, and I said this to Mike on the phone today, if you look at the first interception, it looks like, in my opinion, even though Debo was the third read, or the second read, I think Kittle ran the wrong route. And the reason why I think this is because if you go to the Ronnie Bell touchdown, it's basically the same concept and different alignment with different personnel groupings. And if you watch what they did, and Baltimore was in the same defensive look, I understand, Hamilton was out of the game. I understand that. But on that interception, there was no threat to Hamilton, the safety. And when I say threat, There was no one running a route at him and pulling it off to a corner route where he would have to respect it. So what did he do? He just sat. And when he saw Purdy look at Debo and his eyes were wide open, he jumped, as a good safety should. But my whole point of this is it was the same play, different grouping, different setting, same concept. And Connolly actually pressed the safety and peeled off to a corner route, and that throw was wide open for Ronnie Bell. And you're a big Ronnie Bell guy, so I'm sure you saw it.
I did.
How wide open was Ronnie Bell?
He was all the way open.
Okay, so I honestly feel there might have been a little mishap or misunderstanding on Kittle's part, because if you watch Kittle run his route, he literally runs 5 yards and peels out to the sideline. Now, if he would have took that 10, 12 yards and peeled to the back pylon, that's a touchdown all day. Now, when I say the threat, that's what I'm meaning by the threat to the safety.
Yeah, you just
he
pulled.
had no one break into his half of the field.
Right.
So he's going to sit there.
He was free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Free safety. There you go.
Yeah. I get it. I haven't watched all 22 yet, so I can't wait to look at it from that perspective. So there's a possibility.
Watch that first play and then watch the touchdown play in the end of the game, and you'll see it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Yeah, why did we go? What happened? I understand what I said, and like you brought up the fact of potentially this is a matchup down the road, and Kyle didn't want to show his hand. I understand that, but if that's the case, why is it when you were down by what 13?
You tried to, right.
You ran the ball right down that field with success. Put it in the end zone, and you went away from it.
Just to let them know, and to mess with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because the Ravens didn't really how well did the Ravens adjust coming out of the half? Let's be honest. We had a 1 yard run, right? And then it was pass, penalty, punt. Penalty, they get the ball on their side of the field to score. Like it just nothing made sense to me other than the simple fact that possibly we gonna see y'all again. And it's going to be different.
It's good that you said that, because I think it's a strong possibility. Now, people, there's still Brock Purdy haters out there.
100%.
And to the Brock Purdy haters, let's take it back to the Iowa game where he had a bad game like he had today.
Okay.
I think he threw 3 interceptions in that game. Or it's the same Brock Purdy that went on a 5-game tear with a QBR over 100 average over 120, 130.
Yeah.
Okay. This kid will have his good games. He will have his bad games. It happens. This is the NFL. This is the highest level of competition. It's going to happen, but I fully expect this kid to bounce back, and I expect this team to bounce back. And this is what, in my opinion, is going to separate the 49ers from the rest of the league. All right? They know it's go time. They know what's on the table. They want that break. They want that 1 seed. They know that every game counts from here on out. They had their opportunity to seal it. They didn't do it. So now it's business. And I fully expect the Niners to win out and lock up that 1 seed, have that first-round bye, rest up, get this team ready to make that push, because it's a lot easier to win 3 games than it is to win 2.
I like that. So
it's a lot easier to win 2 games than it is to
win 3. So basically, this Ravens game at this particular point in time of the year, they were just playing with house money. Like, it really wasn't gonna have no effect other than they would have had the best record in the NFL at the time.
I mean, listen, I don't think they laid down. I think they had intentions to try to win this game, but doing it this way, but the way that we saw.
Right, so that's playing with house money. Like, if you win, you win. If you lose, you don't. I'm gonna take this money, house money, is because it ain't my money. This is the money I got, and I'm gonna use this money only. I might have to dig into my own personal stash, but I'm gonna use the house money. If we win, Gucci. If we don't, it's still cool, because I still got my money. And Brock is money. I want people to understand that Brock Purdy is money. Okay? And when the Niners run with their particular game plan, they're almost unbeatable. When they run the ball, throw the ball, when it doesn't matter what they do first. It's about them finding a way to be balanced. And this game, there was zero balance. And Tony, you go back to the beginning of this game, they didn't even set up the offense. It was pass, right? 5 pass plays, but none of them were rhythm throws. They were all big throws down the field. So what happened to that portion of Kyle Shanahan's game? We don't even do rhythm anymore?
No, correct. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And I just want to say one quick thing, because I know you probably got to jump because you got the show with Mike coming up.
Mm-hmm.
By me saying this, like what I'm trying to say, it's not a pass by Kyle Shanahan. Even though I think there's an ulterior motive behind it, I still think how he called this game. There were this offense minus the first drive before he threw the pick to the play to the drive where they scored their only the touchdown in the first half. I think it was in the second quarter. This offense had no rhythm. It was totally out of rhythm. There was no bang, bang. There was the motions weren't there. It just didn't look like your typical Kyle Shanahan San Francisco 49er offense that we've seen game in and game out on this second streak that they had this season, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. And when the offense isn't in rhythm, they're not going to score for 17 points. Well, they did this game. They got 19.
Coincidence? And on your show earlier with Steph and John, is that coincidence?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So, I mean, listen, I'm not hitting the panic button.
No, absolutely not.
This team has a ton of veterans on it.
Agreed. Are you concerned a little bit about the injuries, though, to these veterans?
The Armstead injury I'm very concerned with because I don't think there's any issue with his knee. I think he has the plantar fasciitis, and I just got over that after 3 months, and it hurts, and you can't do shit with it.
Nothing.
So I think Eric Armstead is pretty much – that's a house money player, and if he comes back and is able to play, okay. But I think the signing of Joseph Day was significant, and it was a must-add. And he is going to improve the run game for this team, might contribute as a pass rusher with the talent around him. And it puts the guys like Kinlaw, Givens back in their roles where they were having success in, right, as like the second and third rushers. They will come in for relief and rotate and keep that line fresh instead of dipping into the McGill and a practice squad or bringing them up. So you're strengthening it. It's not, he's not an Eric Armstead type player, but he will help this defensive line up front. He's a Rutgers guy from New Jersey. So I like the addition, and I think it's really going to help this defense play the run in the playoffs going forward.
Tony, I appreciate you, bro.
Nah, no doubt. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in, Tony.
No doubt. Have a good day.
You too. Peace. All right, guys, we got to end that call-in segment. I do apologize if I didn't get to anybody out there. But, yeah, I appreciate everybody for calling in. And, listen, how will Brock Purdy bounce back against the Commanders is simple. He's just going to go out there and Brock. I mean, that's what Brock does, man. It comes down to the game plan. Look, if you want to experiment against this team, I'm all for it. But find a way to come out with that dub. I didn't think experimenting or trying new things against the Baltimore Ravens was the best approach. But had we won, cool, but we didn't. And so I think Kyle Shanahan's going to have his guys prepared. I think Brock Purdy is going to get back into the command of defeating the Commanders. If you guys picked up on that, and it's gonna be easy breezy, guys. So don't panic. Like Tony just said, there's nothing to panic about. Brock played his worst game. That's out of his system. Watch him come back and play his best game, guys. You guys have been awesome. I just want to make sure I didn't miss out on anybody. Shout out to all the Breezy Bunch members again for just being members throughout the whole year. Appreciate you guys. Those that just signed up, appreciate you guys as well. Will it be an easy win? For sure. I don't expect the Niners to struggle against the Commanders. But listen, if the Commanders bring their A-plus game, it is what it is. Niners just got to be prepared. They are traveling. They are 13.5-point favorites. And, guys, we'll be back at 4:30 p.m. with my boy Mike. No Harm, No Foul. Will be on this channel as well as the Nothing But Niners channel, so you can get it on both channels if you like. And we're going to talk about the outlook of the San Francisco 49ers and the scenarios and what they need to do and things like that before we start breaking this game. Again, congratulations to Brock Purdy. Happy birthday to Brock Purdy. Congrats on being a 4,000-yard throwing quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He is on his way of breaking Jeff Garcia's franchise record. Love you guys, man. Stay up, stay faithful. You know how we do. We keep it nitty-gritty on here, man. Stay faithful to the Bay. Thanks for watching.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24-karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping nonstop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher.